remarks he would like at the closing of the Ada chapter at the University of Maryland's rechartering ceremony here tonight. Brother Jake.
Boom. All right. First off, I just want to extend thanks on behalf of the chapter, especially. There we go. Is that better? Sweet. Especially to Todd Simpson for taking your time to come out here and spend this incredibly important moment with us.
Thank you.
And also, these people have gotten a lot of thanks tonight, and they deserve every bit of praise that has come their way. And I want to start off with our faculty advisor, Mama Terry Zacher. Honestly, Mama Terry, as we call her, has done an incredible job. Just an incredible job making sure that fraternity keeps its priorities in line. That's scholarship, academics. It's why we're in school. Working to better ourselves, to gain wisdom through what we learn in the classroom. She's done an incredible job. And she's from Maine and a Patriots fan and a Celtics fan. Go Celtics! Next, of course, Chris McBeth. And on a personal note, Chris has helped me immensely. He's always even-headed, level-headed. He's always, he doesn't necessarily always have an answer, but he's always willing to sit with you and think with you and support you until you find a course of action that's appropriate for the situation. Thank you, Chris, for the hard work and dedication you've helped us hit this point. And Drew Cameron, thank you so much for accepting the challenge of being our risk management advisor. Hey, but if you think about it, how many people do you guys know out there that would accept the challenge of being a risk management advisor for a fraternity? I don't know many people out there, so your job may have been easy up to this point, but we're gonna try. We're gonna try. And of course, the bald eagle, Mr. Drew Bagwell. Experience is a great thing. When you're working with someone with over a century and a half of experience, it's pretty sweet. That's where Drew really comes in. Really tells you. He was there with the founders. He explained the symbolism to us. Great. So Drew, thank you for your service. Mustache man, you in the back, you know who you are. Joker Scully, and John Wright, and all the members of the Alumni Association. You all have, I can't even express to you how grateful the Ada chapter is for your presence in our organization. One of the great things about being in a fraternity is knowing the rich history of your organization. It touches you. Look at us, 20 men up here, connecting across generations. I was brought to tears. It was so meaningful. And the reason why I joined the fraternity. And you all and I have really connected us, and I'm thankful to you for that. Is there anybody I'm forgetting? Good call. To all parents out there. Again, I mentioned the risk management advisor, how much of a risk that is, a leap of faith, so to speak. I'll be honest, if my kid came to me and said, like Terry said, if my kid came to me and said, I want to found a fraternity, I don't know how I'd really react. Or at least I wouldn't have. It's a leap of faith. You know the stereotype of fraternities out there. It's not exactly the most positive thing in the world. So, especially, my parents, just been the most wonderful, supportive people in the world. I can't even express. Family is what gives my life meaning. And I'm damn proud to say I have a wonderful family. And I'm damn proud to say that all of us in this room, to a certain extent, have been touched by our family members, and that many of them could be here tonight to witness this wonderful occasion. Thank you, James. Now, I won't talk long because I know you guys want to get your dancing shoes on, want to get boogieing, but let me give you 2 years ago today. 2 years ago today, I never would have pictured myself in a fraternity. You know, I've mentioned the negative stereotypes that are out there. You know, I had this preconceived notion of what a fraternity guy is. Tell me if you've heard this before. I thought all fraternity guys, they wore lax things. They had some pretty sweet backwards hat. They had really wealthy parents, and they loved drinking alcohol. That's what I thought a fraternity man was. That's what I thought defined the fraternity experience 2 years ago today. I had no concept whatsoever of what a fraternity truly means, what it can truly mean, what it should truly mean. Ladies and gentlemen, I've said this many times before, that God has a sense of humor. God has a sense of humor because at this point in my life, 2 years ago, I wasn't even considering joining a fraternity. A month later, he made me the president of one. And you know what? To be honest, I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't think I was the president of a fraternity for the right reasons. You know, I mean, Eric Cedarstrom and all the George Mason guys did a great job of pitching fraternity to me. It was, be a founding father, create your legacy at the University of Maryland. You know, this looks great on a resume, you should do it. And I bought into that. Just like any other student organization you might do, I bought into that. I said, great, this will make me look wicked good. This will make me look great, I'm going to do it. So I joined this organization with my boy Roshan Shah, treasurer, and a few other of our tight friends. And you know what, starting out, like I said, we viewed it as just another organization. You know, we didn't know how to do fraternity. We didn't have any type of concept about what brotherhood truly means. We were just a bunch of guys. And you know what, that reflected itself in our first year, or our first semester of life as a colony. We were meeting in my apartment building, in my common room, with 12 members, but on a good night we'd have 8 show up. You know, I'd be sitting there trying to run a meeting, I didn't really know what we were doing. You know, we didn't really have any new business, because, I mean, we weren't mingling with any sororities at the time. We weren't doing any brotherhood activities at the time. We were just trying to get our footing beneath us and discern what we were truly doing. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it was tough. That first year was tough as a fraternity. I'll never forget it. It was a big deal when we got a room on campus and got recognition from stars. It was a big deal. But after that, we went through a doldrums phase. We weren't really growing. There was no life. I was questioning myself as a leader. How could I lead a lifeless organization? What was I doing wrong? What was amiss? What was happening? I took a step back. I took a step back and asked, what could I do? And again, like I said, God has a sense of humor. Because he said to me, Jay, till this point, you've made this whole fraternity experience about you. You know, about your abilities as a leader. And you know, it hasn't gotten you anywhere thus far. Why don't you take a step back and see what your brothers can do? Why don't you let go a little bit? Why don't you show some trust in your brothers? See what they can do. So ladies and gentlemen, I did my best to step back. And you know what? My brothers, I'm damn proud of the accomplishments that they have done. Damn proud. That spring semester, we were at, I don't know, just over 20 members. Our vice president now, Adam Alves, was the recruitment chair at the time. He stepped it up. and in just over a 2 weeks' time, planned a mid-semester recruitment. And we got over 11 or 12 guys just in a couple weeks because of the work that Adam and his recruitment committee did. The next fall, riding that momentum, a lot of fraternities would say, hey, let's just coast. But John Shover had the wonderful idea of getting our fundraising, in gear. And you know what he did? He created the idea of selling buttons at the football games. Maybe some of you alumni have been solicited by some of us undergrads for buttons. But they had some pretty witty slogans on them, and we'd sell them before football games, and they were usually demeaning to the other team, and we made bank. We made bank. We made over $1,000 for Phi Sigma Kappa because John had the initiative to go out there and make stuff happen. Then, none of us would be here right now. None of us, without the efforts of Andrew Roberts. I don't know if you guys know this, but A-Rob, as we call him, put together one of the best, if not the best, chartering documents the Grand Council has ever seen. Ever. He got on everybody's case, including mine, to get their stuff done. He displayed courage, honor, and, a lot of brotherhood, man. It takes a lot to get everybody on the same page, and A-Rob did a fantastic job. There are so many examples of leadership in this chapter. The last one I want to talk about is Scott Mansky. As our Grand President mentioned, we own the blood drives at the University of Maryland. The Red Cross loves working with us, and that's all Scott Mansky. He's put the effort in to build a relationship with them, and has done a wonderful job. Absolutely. Trust. Trust in your brothers. That's what it can accomplish. That's what I've learned that leadership is. It's trusting others around you to do great things. We had a shirt when we first started out. It proclaimed that we were destined for greatness. Destined for greatness. And you know what? Starting this day, we've done some great things, but starting this day, I challenge my chapter, the ADA chapter, to be destined for greatness on this campus. It's just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do, but we've already shown our character. We've already shown that we have a tremendous brotherhood, and we've already shown that we're committed to scholarship. It is time to achieve that greatness that we once aspired to in those t-shirts. It is time, and I have total faith based on what we've already done that we can accomplish that. And also, okay, applause, go forward. And also, before I get off my soapbox, I suppose, I want to challenge each of my brothers in their lives. I've challenged the organization to greatness, but I want to challenge each and every one of you in your lives during your undergraduate career and your postgraduate career. I want to challenge you to greatness. I want to challenge you all to strive for the best scholarship record possible, to develop your character, and may that development never stop. It's a lifelong process. And for you to always help your brother in need. Phi Sigma Kappa doesn't guarantee for you to be a success in your life. But it does give you certain tools that you can use to accomplish greatness. The world doesn't need any more good men. It needs great men. And Phi Sigma Kappa has helped me develop skills that I can use to someday achieve greatness. All right. Ada, Dan Fowler, congratulations, guys.